Hello, everyone. Hello, YouTubers. It's Anonymous T. Hope you're having an amazing day today. So today we're discussing ready to love, ready to disappear, ready to disappoint, ready to gaslight, ready to lie, ready to throw people under the bus, ready to be messy, ready to be catty, ready to be two-faced, ready to ghost the entire show and you're under contract. Like, make it make sense, you guys. Like, why is season 6... Like, I'm so subdued because overall there is not nearly as much drama as there was last season, but tonight kind of everything just happened all at once that this reunion is going to be so messy and so nasty. Like, I don't even, after that conversation at the end with Nephew Tommy, which I'll get to in a moment, none of these people need to be bringing each other over to each other's families or making final decisions. None of the couples. Lust is not love. It's just a lot going on, but let's get to it. So the beginning of episode, I believe this is episode 10, and boy, I can't wait for this to be over. So we pick up where we left off at the weekend retreat. Sabrina is, telling Paul and Tori that they're in the final two, and basically giving, what attributes the women liked about them and some concerns that the women had. And we all know for Tori, really, he had no other connection. He was all in on Sabrina and then completely was shell-shocked the moment that she kissed Demetrius at that bonfire pool party event thing that took place. So he's been checked out since then. And, pretty much ended up being eliminated, and he looked relieved. Tori did look relieved to be finally done with this mess. And then he, picked up Sabrina in the air and all this other stuff. I don't know, I think Sabrina was wanting Tori to fight a little harder for her. And I think when he just completely checked out versus communicating his feelings, immediately after all that took place, I think it turned off Sabrina and she felt like, all right, well, I'm going to just keep it moving because I got other connections, is kind of how she played that. So then we move forward. So we have another night and, Dakia and Clifton finally have a conversation. She's basically telling him, hey, I thought that we had a connection. You basically ignored me all weekend. Why didn't you just come to me face to face and tell me, hey, I have a stronger connection with Joy, instead of throwing it in my face with the matching onesies and sleeping in the bed together all weekend and all this and that. You just kind of played me for a fool. And so, Clifton's all, trying to apologize. And then they get into, some weird type of hug that was completely unnecessary since they're not having a romantic connection of any sort moving forward since Clifton's all in on Joy. And then Dakia went outside and kind of just had a moment and was, drinking wine and upset and all this stuff. And it's I don't know why these people are pressed over this crew, you guys. Is this how the men in DC are? Oh my gosh. I feel sorry for you ladies. What in the world is going on? OMG. I can't do the gaslighting, the games, having to chase somebody down. No. No, I'm not the one, you guys. So then from there, Joy and Clifton, they get in the hot tub with Sabrina and Demetrius. Joy's trying to get Sabrina to kiss Demetrius in front of them. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if they have some voyeur or some type of kink that's happening, but Sabrina's I'll do what I do in my own time. And so then they all got out of the hot tub, and Joy and Clifton, they're all flirting and kissing on each other or whatever. She's sitting on his lap. Also, Carmen and Donovan get in the hot tub, and honestly, I don't see the chemistry. I know they're trying to, make it seem like it's there. I didn't see it. She's all over him in the hot tub, and then they apparently, spent the night in the same bed together, and this and that, and I'm just not seeing it. I feel like at this point, Carmen moved in on Donovan, and I think it was a plan. Right? They saw Sabrina because earlier, like right after the elimination, Sabrina and Demetrius had like this tense talk, about feelings, about stepping it up, about showing, then telling, and all this and that, and Joy and Carmen and Zakia, they're like staring at her, wanting popcorn because it just looked like a tense conversation. But I think Carmen knew deep down, she never saw it for Paul, but was just waiting for the opportunity that there could be some friction or some issues with Donovan and Sabrina, and then go in for the kill. And I think that was her strategy. Because ultimately, I still feel like she's pissed about Eric going, right? And so I think that's what that was with the hot tub and spending the night in the bed together and this and that. We already know what that was about. So, we get into the next day, and you guys, the show is just a train wreck, you guys. It's a train wreck this season. So literally, you guys, when everybody is leaving the retreat for the weekend, like literally just ate breakfast, bags packed, loaded up the car or about to load up the car and drive off and drive back home. Literally, Tina comes out of nowhere, you guys. Comes out of nowhere and shows up at the spot. And she's all like, hey guys, hey, what's going on? And they're all looking at her like, girl, where have you been all weekend? Like, lower that down. Take that down to like a 2, because we are not excited to see you right now. And so the looks that Carmen was giving, the side comments were just so messy. Paul's acting like a scorned lover, and didn't even want to talk to the girl. Like, everybody just had this stank look on their face, like, how dare you show up here at the end of this weekend retreat, like nothing happened. And like Carmen was all like to her, well, when you said that you were having car troubles, I thought you were driving in from Alaska. I'm like, oh my gosh, here we go. And so really, Tina really honestly wasn't paying any of them any mind. She really just only wanted to talk to Donovan because that was her connection. So essentially they go upstairs to have a conversation. He's like turned off. He's already like, by his body language, he doesn't even want to have this conversation. And, Tina's like, well, life happens. And Donovan's like, yeah, we kept playing phone tag. Like, why couldn't you just tell me like what was up? Like, what's going on? And so she's like, well, yeah, there's just a lot going on. And I just don't know if I have like the right connection here, or if this and that is right for me. And he's like, do you even want to be here? And she's like, I don't know. I'll have to sleep on it and ponder about it and this and that. And he's basically like, look, the guys are pissed at you. The guys are pissed that you've basically ghosted us and ghosted this entire process, affecting all of our connections. And, and then you just show up here out of the blue, just expecting to pick up where you left off, where Donovan spent the weekend trying to cultivate his connections with Sabrina and Carmen. So, Tina's like, well, I gotta decide on what I'm gonna do. And so then she like goes outside and like is like pacing around at first, and then eventually sits down. And then Messy Carmen comes out, you guys. Messy Carmen comes out because she wants to get the tea. She wants to get the tea on what is going on. But I also felt in that moment that Carmen was plotting, because out of nowhere, she's not even asking about, anything. She keeps dropping Demetrius's name because that's Sabrina's other connection. And Tina's like, I only have a connection with Donovan. Like, that's the only person that I'm here for. And that Demetrius reminds me of my ex. So therefore, that was never going to be a thing. So I don't know if she was trying to do that to push Sabrina and Donovan further apart, or what the agenda was, but it was just very weird. It was very awkward, especially since Carmen was the main one that was like talking mess about this girl in the house. And I'm like, I don't like this. And it just felt like, one, she was trying to, maybe make things rough for Sabrina, or make Sabrina basically be the next person eliminated, the next female eliminated, and then she could just then ride off into the sunset and make the finals with Donovan. And also, it just felt like she generally just wanted to be messy, to tell some messy gossip back to the group on what Tina was or wasn't about to do. And so I kind of in that moment was glad that Tina gave her nothing. Just gave us all nothing. And I was like, you know, I'll do what I do, I'll decide what I decide, and I'm just gonna give you guys nothing. And so that was that, you guys. That was that of Tina. And that was the last time we saw her this episode. Maybe she stayed at the house. Maybe she stayed back at the house. And you know, enjoyed it for herself or whatever. But it was just crazy, you guys. It was absolutely insanity. So then Paul and Dakia, they go out on a date, and it's kind of awkward because it's like, I feel like Dakia should have self-eliminated. The right guy isn't here for her. And I don't want to see her and Paul try to like fake a connection just to stay on the show, or just to get to the end, or just to meet the quota of 3 or 4 final couples. Like, we just got to stop, you guys. We absolutely have to stop. So, so there was that. And also, you know, I guess, you know, Paul remembered that Dakia likes red wine, so she's like eating all that up. But I'm like, Dakia, you're too sophisticated for, you know, all of this. Like, just cut your losses and peace out. Like, you do not deserve how you've been treated here, you know, by these men. Like, just keep it moving. And so then also, Joy and Clifton, they go out to eat all the way out in Annapolis, and I'm like, they really have to stop selling this as Potomac, you guys. Stop selling this season as a Potomac. And I think they're trying to do it to make it seem as though this was classier than last season, but was it? I mean, it's a different approach because everybody is just very superficial, very surface level in their connections. And so then Clifton picks up Joy, and it's like that kind of pickup where, you know, more than kissing has taken place with somebody. And I was like, yeah, I don't know about this. And so then Clifton goes in about, and he kind of downplayed the hell out of how he friend zoned Zakia. And I was very disappointed in that, because I thought that he was really going to, you know, speak his truth and speak, you know, at least have some empathy for her. But he was just all like, yeah, I had to lay down the law, and you're number one, and blah, 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 blah. And I have no regrets. And it was just a lot. And then they're kind of alluding to doing stuff in the bed at night and all this other stuff, and how much fun they had at the retreat over the weekend. And then they like lean in for a quick kiss, and Clifton's all like, yeah, I need a taste again. And I'm like, yeah, we kind of know what's really going on. Like I said, I feel like this connection is lust. And it just confirms what, you know, so many say on these shows, is that a lot of these people are trying to like hook up with multiple people outside of filming, outside of the cameras. And then when things go left, or they act different or switch up on camera, is when all hell breaks loose. So, but at least for now, it seems as though Clifton and Joy appear to be all in on each other to take each other to the end, or what have you. So then we have this brunch session with Tommy, to where he wants to get feedback from the retreat. You know, what happened? What are some pros and cons with everybody? So, you know, Joy, she's all in bliss with Clifton, and she's all, you know, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and all geeked to talk about her connection with him. But then she said that a drawback was Clifton has an issue letting his exes go, and Clifton didn't really do a good job of defending that. Because it kind of sounded like he still wanted his exes involved to some degree, which tells me you're not ready to love. You're not ready for a committed relationship, because why do your exes need to be in the forefront of your life if you guys are no longer together, other than if you're still friends with benefits or, you know, something else? But especially if it was a messy breakup. Like, why? So that was weird. And then we move forward with Miss Carmen, And she is basically, talking about her connection with Donovan and how they've connected and this and that. And briefly, you guys know, like, her and Paul went out at first, but I never felt that she was ever into Paul. So that was that. Also, Paul is talking about his connections with Takia and Carmen and trying to do a comparison of the two. And then basically says that he feels that Carmen is always trying to size him up and always trying to look for an opportunity to tear him down. And for whatever reason, Carmen felt away and basically threw comments that Paul allegedly said under the bus, basically trying to imply that Kia wasn't attractive enough, that he's got to work himself up to get aroused for her, that, he really didn't have fun on the date. It wasn't really all what it was cracked up to be, and this and that. And so, of course, Paul's denying all of this, and Takia is disgusted, but for whatever reason, she's believing Paul over Carmen. And I think it's just because her and Carmen do not see eye to eye. And I think it's just because they have the same connections, right? And also, I think Carmen is still pissed that Eric, is gone. And part of that is because of what happened with Takia. So here we are. And, Carmen's just throwing out these jabs, you guys. Like, she is just going hard in the paint. And it is just very uncomfortable to watch. And Donovan's big old mouth, who has all this mouth in the confessional, never says anything in the moment when things are going down. But is all like, yeah, I was very uncomfortable with how Carmen and Paul were behaving and the conversations that they were discussing with Takia. Like, it was just completely disgusting. And I'm like, you're sitting literally feet away. You could have told that to them, like, right then and there. Come on, dude. So then we move on to Sabrina. And Sabrina, honestly, I felt she was the most honest out of everybody that's there. And basically felt as though Demetrius isn't chasing her. Demetrius is putting in zero work, zero effort. And basically is giving her the runaround that I'll put my all in you when you make a choice. But remember, his best friend said that basically Demetrius wants a serious woman and he's doing minimal effort, and claims that he's just going to completely flip the switch if Sabrina, makes the choice that it's him. And so then she goes in on Donovan, not go in, but just basically said, hey, she liked their connection, felt that they had a lot of laughs and this and that. However, she had some concerns that he's not ready to love, that, his divorce was only 4 months ago. So therefore, he still might not be in a place to be ready for a committed relationship. And so I don't know what happened with Donovan, but then he just completely flipped the script and then tried to say that Sabrina threw him, or tried to say that he was going to be eliminated next, and tried to say that she came at his neck. Like, I can't. And so then Sabrina came back and was like, we were joking off camera, and I made the joke, it could be you could be next, because they were talking about eliminations. But it's just like, there's just too much messiness that's going on, you guys. Like, just way too much messiness. So it gets to the point that Tommy has to interject. And then I thought my ears were deceiving me, because Tommy's like, it takes a lot to get to a certain place, and communication is key. And I wouldn't have been with my wife for 20 years if I didn't know this and that. And I was like, I was like, you got married in 2016, Tom. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? You literally got married 6 years ago. What are you talking about? Yes, you guys were probably off and on for 20 years, but you definitely got married in 2016. You have not been married for 20 years, sir. But it is what it is. Whatever to sell the narrative, you guys. So there's that. So then Tommy said that he's going to check and see what's up with Tina, because Donovan basically relayed the conversation that he had with her, and that she showed up in the 11th hour at the retreat and everybody was just over it, and it was like 5 or 10 minutes after everybody was about to like pack up and or basically leave the retreat and just go home. And so Tommy said he was going to pay her a visit, and I was like, oh, this is not going to be good. This is not going to be good, you guys. And I think part of the reason that Tina went actually to the house from a production perspective is I think she drove up there because the show basically told her, hey, we need to resolve your storyline on camera. We're not going to just create a narrative, on camera without you. We need you to resolve your storyline because you signed a contract that you were going to, film a certain amount of time, and you basically didn't adhere to that. So we need you to wrap this up if you truly want to be done with the show. And I think that's what happened. I think that was why she took that long old drive and, was in and out and was like, hey guys, and came in at the very last minute to, basically say she didn't have really any strong connections. And so Tommy basically is like waiting. He's waiting. He is calling, going straight to voicemail. Tina has production. She has nephew Tommy blocked. She has own network blocked. She has Oprah blocked. She has everybody blocked. Like, I don't even know if she's going to be at the reunion because nobody can get a hold of her. She never shows up. And nephew Tommy, he always likes to have that last conversation when something messy or chaotic happens, because he's starting to do that now the past couple of seasons, especially if people self-eliminate or if there's like an incident. He wants to have a conversation to, get all of the facts and lay everything out, especially if somebody's self-eliminating. And she's just MIA, you guys. Never shows up, no call, no show, like just not trying to feature anything having to do with Ready to Love. And the only thing I'll say about that is I feel a certain type of way because that kind of sucks for other women who were like genuinely there for the journey and got eliminated. Meanwhile, Tina comes in because I believe Tina came in as a curveball. So she wasn't even there from the beginning to really be acting this brand new and just wanting nothing to do with the show. Like, I get you have a kid, I get you're a single mom, I get you have your own business and this and that, I get it, life happens, but you can easily communicate that stuff to people instead of just blatantly ignoring them and then just kind of popping up whenever. I think she checked out the episode when Donovan brought in Phil from last season and they had the double date, and you could kind of just see Tina shrinking, and Sabrina basically, opened up and seized the moment, and pretty much I think Tina was pretty checked out at that. So that's my opinion, at least. And next week it looks like the guys are introducing the women to their families. So we see in the preview Carmen meeting Donovan's mom, I believe, and then we see Joy meeting Clifton's parents, and it's so weird because Clifton's mom and Joy look like they could be related. Like, it's so weird. And I'm trying to think if there was anything else. Oh, and Tommy tells the guys basically that, Tina didn't show up, Tina ghosted him too, and all of this nonsense. And then we get this very tense conversation with Donovan and Sabrina, and it's just ugly, you guys. But I mean, for me at this point, like, I feel like we need to just wrap the season. Like, none of these people have connections, you guys. We have to be honest with ourselves. Even Joy and Clifton, what conversations of substance did we actually hear them have, right? It's all like the showmance, the flirtmance, the sexual innuendos, all that kind of stuff, but nothing really substantial. You're not seeing any discussions about, what they're going to do beyond the show, how they're going to go back and forth, if they're long distance or whatever. Like, we've had nothing of substance. So we're just seeing the physical connection between them, right? So they're obviously going to be one of the final couples, and probably, I'm assuming, Demetrius and Sabrina, although she looks like she's just done with all these people, when it's all said and done. And, likely Carmen and Donovan. and I don't know, enjoying Clifton, I guess. I don't know if Zakia's gonna stay, because her and Paul are not compatible at all. So I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna go all the way to the end, but I am interested in seeing previews for the reunion, because I think the reunion is going to be absolutely lit. Because there was just a lot of smack that people talked in these confessionals, and a lot of under the comments, under your breath type of comments and shady things people were saying, and it all needs to be aired out. And now, after watching this episode, I totally know who's been leaking to the blogs all of these negative things about poor Zakia. And Zakia seems like just the sweetest person in the world. She's not really on social media. I believe somebody said in the comments that, she has, a big-time job with NASA or something. So, she's very sophisticated and, very classy, very beautiful. And I just don't understand why people are coming for her. I don't get it at all. Because she definitely is not problematic. She hasn't been catty or messy or, trying to turn the women against each other or trying to tear women down with insults and things that are below the belt. So I don't know what that's all about, but I'm just hoping we can get some resolve at the reunion. So that's what I'm hoping. But if you guys watch, let me know what you guys think. What did you think of tonight's episode? Are you ready for the season to be over? Who do you think is going to be the final couples at this point? Do you think anybody else is potentially just going to self-eliminate and say screw it? What are your guys' thoughts? Please let me know in the comments. Please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you're notified the moment I post new content on my channel. And with that being said, I will talk to you guys again very soon.